Welcome back, everybody, to Weekly Briefing. Well, Kamala the Chameleon strikes again. The Harris campaign told the media that their candidate no longer supports electric vehicle mandates. That came after they leaked she actually does support funding former President Trump's border wall. Is this strategy working for the Harris campaign? The vice president of the Media Research Center, Dan Schneider, seems to think so. Take a listen.
She's getting away with it, and it's working for her. The poll numbers show it. She's able to conceal her real views, and frankly, she's colluding with the media to effectuate this. It really is a fraud on the public, and it's working for her.
So, Kingsley, Kamala called the wall, the southern border wall, Trump's border wall, a vanity project during the primaries. What happened to that?
Well, it's funny because she can't run on the Biden-Harris record, right? The American people know that life under Biden-Harris has been unaffordable. It's been unsafe. We've had absolute chaos at our southern border, which Kamala Harris was tasked with taking care of. She was the border czar, no matter how much she tries to run with it. So it is funny to see her kind of reshape her image in this way and pretend the last 4 years haven't happened. She's even stolen no tax on tips from President Trump. She's talked about child tax credits and stole that straight from J.D. Vance just days later. So this is someone who has not had an original agenda because she's running from that record. Life was better under Trump, and the American people are going to remember that when they go to the polls in November. They do not want another 4 years of this administration's leadership. And I think learning that Biden has also been cognitively impaired this entire 4 years, so much so that he needs to drop out of the race, really puts all of the pressure and all of the failures on Kamala Harris. Because if Biden was asleep at the wheel, Kamala Harris is who the buck stopped with.
What's interesting, Paul, is to hear Kamala Harris talk about her positions in her own words. I think we have a soundbite of that here, and maybe we can hear about that.
We have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
We need a change. We cannot continue to have an administration and a president of the United States who puts his vanity projects ahead of the needs of the people of our country.
Let me be clear, I do not support a border wall. That's pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. And
Did we hear her correctly?
Yeah, you certainly did. And Kingsley's right about what she's trying to do and change her views on everything. But keep in mind that she really hasn't come out on all these herself. It's been her campaign staff saying, oh, she's maybe changing her mind on fracking and so forth and so on. So we need to hear from her why she changed her views and what are they. Because then she's going to have to say whether or not Biden was wrong with what he did, whether when he pulled out of Afghanistan the way he did, does she agree with that or not? So that's what's going to have to come up in the debates coming up here, and she has to be put to the test to see what kind of chameleon we're dealing with here.
Donna, it's very interesting. She also changed her position on EVs, and I think we have a soundbite about that around here somewhere. Maybe we can hear that one.
You know what also excites me? Among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
Donna, what do you make? Do you like electric school buses as much as she does?
First of all, this is an administration that spent $53 million to build a single school bus. A single school bus.
$53 million for one bus?
For each school bus, they built 60 school buses at a cost of $53 million. So they've been grifting the American public with the Green New Deal. The second thing, she's playing word games here. Her policies and outcomes are the same. She says she's against EV mandates. Of course she's going to say that because she's for tailpipe emission standards, which the regulations are so stringent that you cannot build a gas-powered engine car. She's for fracking, but they have environmental policies They have environmental studies, environmental justice studies that will permanently stop or delay a project indefinitely. Yeah. She's Californian American. That's what she's doing. She's trying to make California.
It sounds like,
well, she's not on both sides. Her agenda is the agenda. The Inflation Reduction Act was the Green New Deal. You've seen them change the word of what a woman is. You've seen them change what the definition of a recession was. You've seen them over and over again change the definition so that people don't, the only time a woman is during abortion. Her policies are the same because the outcomes are going to be the same. In California, in 2017, they were supposed to build 200,000 units, housing units, because of environmental policies, which I call the Green Jim Crow. They only built 1,500 units.
We shall
They're
see.
going to do the same thing here.
I have a feeling this will come up during that debate. I'm not sure, but it might. We shall see. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. have both been added to former President Donald Trump's presidential transition team. The news comes after both Gabbard and Kennedy came out in support of the former president. If Trump is elected, they both would help to select political appointees and priorities for the incoming administration. Take a listen to both Gabbard and Kennedy coming out in support of Trump.
This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief.
Three great causes drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent, and now to throw my support to President Trump.
Paul, in his endorsement, he had a scathing critique of the Democrats.
Oh, he did.
Is this going to make any difference, though, in the election, in the final vote tallies? Is this going to throw any support over to Mr. Trump? Is it going to take any support away from Ms. Harris?
Yeah, I think it may be helping Trump on this in terms of indicting the Democrats and what their policies have been. As he said, this is the anti-democratic party. They're for freedom, but hey, you can't be free to express yourself on the internet. So I think it may impact a little bit. I do note that RFK said he's taking his name off the ballot in those states where it may have thrown the election one way or the other. But a couple of the states are saying, no, under our rules, you can't get off. So that may have some effect in some battleground states. We'll have to see about that.
Donna, these are two Democrats. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is at least a former Democratic member of Congress. RFK presumably is still a Democrat. Is this going to get any Democrat votes maybe for Donald Trump, do you suppose?
I think it does. I think it gives people the courage to be able to say, I support a candidate that has been good for America. And you know what? Joe Biden and Harris got up and said they were going to be the candidates and the party of unity, and we've seen anything but that. This is a real unifier because people who are sitting there going, I don't want my kids to have to worry about 56 genders. I don't want my kids to be forced to, read pornography in school because the Department of Education requires the grants for the schools that they include that.
Kingsley, is this a unifier?
I think absolutely, and I think this shows a real realignment of the Republican Party. We used to be the party of, the Chamber of Commerce, Wall Street elites, and now we're the Main Street Party for all Americans from all walks of life. And I think that we are only going to see that reflected more in who shows up to vote for President Trump in November. It's not going to be your traditional Republican, right? People are fed up with establishment politicians. They want outsiders like RFK, President Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, truth thinkers who will take it to the deep state and drain the swamp.
Truth thinkers who will take it to the deep state. That from Kingsley. We shall see. Anyway, panelists, we have about a minute left. It is time for our crystal ball question. From no tax on tips to the child tax credit and now the border wall funding, Kamala Harris, as we just discussed, has repeatedly plagiarized policies from former President Donald Trump. Panelists, I want you to gaze into your crystal ball and tell me what policy she will steal next. Donna.
She's probably going to steal the MAGA movement. She's going to be the party of the populists, even though they're the party of the elites.
Paul?
Well, I think she'll continue with the fracking issue and do the drill, baby, drill. She'll start taking that away from Donald Trump.
Drill, baby, drill. Kingsley?
Not necessarily a policy, but we've seen her kind of shapeshift, right? One day she's an Indian, the next day she's a black woman. Perhaps she'll start identifying as a 6'2", blonde-haired, blue-eyed New Yorker. I don't know.
And I love that. You know why she can't be an Indian? Because she would be the oppressor. Because Asians make more money than white Americans.
Who knows? Right. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, thank you, panelists. Coming up, pollster Jim McLaughlin tells us how RFK Jr.'s endorsement could swing the election to President Trump's favor in a moment.